All right, it's Thursday, and we're back here on Chasing Birdies. And you know what? It's major week. Right now is kicking off the Open Championship. But we had a little bit of a major championship under place. I know we can't really. We're doing this.
Let's be honest. We're doing this on Sunday.
We're
recording this on Sunday.
We're back early.
We're doing this a little early, and we will provide everybody the details in a short little video, probably early next week, of the Chasing Birdies 2-man at Nemacolin.
Yeah.
Which was brought to you by Red Vanley. So let's just roll into that. Make sure you go check out Red Vanley at redvanley.com. Best shorts. I think everybody really loved the gifts.
Well, I can say this because even though I know we are doing this before the tournament, I got to see the pieces that they did for the tournament. And, man, they knocked it out of the park with those quarter zips. Dude.
Yeah.
Red Vanley, you guys are just kicking ass, man. And, honestly, you guys did it a little bit. You cut it close to the deadline a little bit there, boys. It was a little sweaty, dicey, but you got it done.
You think I was worrying a little bit?
Pep, I know it. I know it.
But they got it done. They turned out great, and thank you again. But and again, we will provide everybody with the winners, some funny stories, and why Eric Tangrady's not talking to me, and all that jazz. So
yeah, I saw today Tango got removed from a chat, put back in a chat, removed.
Just to show him who daddy is.
But I tell you what, man, I got to tell you, you have been working your tail off on this tournament and taking a blow a little bit with your injury. Anybody would probably feel defeated and not want to be involved as much anymore. But, my man, you had stepped up to the plate. I mean, I got to get you something even nicer now for Christmas.
I know.
For doing
this. It was
shit.
I love doing it. And, I mean, the boot thing sucks. But at least I got approved to walk, which there was a lot of content that we got to do and all that jazz. So I'm excited, and I got a lot done for this event. But I wouldn't have done it probably if I was traveling still or playing member guest. So it all happened for a reason, boys, and hopefully everybody enjoyed themselves.
Hey, let me ask you some relevant. What do you think about Keegan Bradley on the Ryder Cup?
A little surprising because I don't know. I mean, I feel like there's other people that are older that could have done it, but I also see why they picked him. He's going to be. He can kind of. He's the same age as a lot of those guys, and I think that he might be able to resonate a little bit more with them than somebody like a Tiger Woods or a little bit older. So I don't mind it now that the more I think about it. And now the rumor buzzing around that Michael Jordan might be the vice captain.
I saw that.
Which again, that makes sense too. Why not? Nothing's worked.
No.
They have lost. I know it's in the United States, but they've lost for the last 30 years in Europe. And that's where I think Tiger's going to be the captain in 2 years.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I was a little surprised by it, but I don't dislike it. I mean, I think
it's fine.
I think it's great.
It's fine. Yeah. Honestly, I hate to say this, but the Ryder Cup, I don't feel like it was what it was before.
Back in the day.
I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe, I don't know. But it's exciting to watch. I think Keegan's going to bring a lot of excitement. And I do like that he basically said, I don't care what tour you're on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you got to look at it that way. You can't have any type of nepotism towards one player because of where they're playing or whatnot. So
you know what that means?
Best.
Our past guest, Greg Gibo, caddy of Bryson DeChambeau, probably going to be caddying in the Ryder Cup.
Probably.
So maybe, you know what? Hey, bud, there's a couple inside the rope passes. We're media. We'll follow you around a little bit.
We are media people, and we're back today with some media here on Chasing Birdies with our guest, Nate Thompson, joining us. And Nate had a really pretty illustrious career in the NHL, but naturally, as I mentioned in the podcast, you talk about these guys retiring, and their retirement age is like 35, and you have to stay relevant after that. So we get into a lot of good talk with Nate, especially with the creation of his business there, Concierge 44, and other things like that. So
in the golf event that they have coming up, the NHL event, Half Moon Bay in August with ex-NHL players, current NHL players, and they're playing for some cash, kind of like we did this week. So, or you did. I didn't.
Well,
I handed it out.
You handed it out.
Yeah.
And you counted it.
So I'm the tournament director, the tournament chairman, the rules official,
superintendent,
and the bank, and the superintendent. So,
my man, I'm happy to see you getting better here. And you guys, thanks for tuning in today. We're going to turn this over here now to Nate Thompson on Chasing Birdies. We're back this week on Chasing Birdies with a 15-year former NHL veteran, Nate Thompson, joining us here on Chasing Birdies. My man, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be on here today.
Yeah, us too. I always tell Pep that whenever I make birdie on him. I'm like, welcome to the show, bud. And he's like, well, shit, I better 3-putt this one. Shoot.
Yeah, so like Ryan mentioned, 15 years in the NHL. That is a long-standing career, over 800 games. It's pretty damn cool. I mean,
it's crazy.
I'm assuming that was your childhood dream, and you got to live it out.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty special, and it hasn't really. It sunk in more after I retired. I think when I was playing, I didn't realize, this was a pretty good career. And to answer your question, when I was like 3 or 4 years old, growing up in Alaska, it's one of those sports that it's kind of the main thing up there. So when I remember growing up, when I was 3 or 4, I told my mom, I was like, I want to play in the NHL someday, and she kind of laughed and smiled at me, but supportively, and said, "Okay, honey, that's great." And
that's great.
Sure enough, I got to do it. So, it's something pretty special, and I'm very proud of the career I had.
So, did you go through the juniors? Did you get drafted through like an OHL team, or did you?
Yeah, so I didn't get drafted, but I played in the Western League. I played in Seattle for the Thunderbirds. I was there for 4 years. I played there from the time I was 16, 17, and I played my 20-year-old season too. So
that's great.
Yeah, I played major junior, and then went from there.
You know what's crazy though is the fact that you're 39, 40, whatever, 39, just under 40.
39 still, not quite
39. And I mean, it's like you look at typical people coming up the ranks, not athletes. They're 39. They're starting to hit their prime with respect to their career, whatnot, what have you. But like, seeing an athlete like you, for example, put in the time, have a successful career, and then not even 40 yet and be essentially retired. Now, granted, I understand you probably still need to do things to keep your mind moving and stay relevant, which you have and you continue to do. We'll get into that. But, that's kind of a cool feeling, though, knowing that, hey, man, for the last, 20, 25 years, I've been married to hockey, and now it's kind of been blessed me with things to be able to do now in the midpoint of my life, not even later in life.
Yeah, it's interesting you bring that up, because last night I was with some family, and I have this book that this company gave me that made over my course of my career with our articles and pictures. And as I was going through it with some of my family members, it was one of those things where I was like, oh, wow, this is kind of the first chapter of my life. Or going back 20 years, it was, my uncle said to me, he said, hockey was everything. And I was like, well, yeah, it was all I was doing.
Right.
And now that it's over, it's like a whole new beginning of another life almost, right? And going through it and looking back and reflecting and thinking about all the things and all the teams that I played for, and the coaches and the players, and I mean everything. It's pretty amazing. I mean, I always forget, and I have to put in perspective that, what hockey, I don't even think it's, the career I had, it was awesome. But like, for me, the people I got to meet over the years, and what hockey has given me for my career is like, it's exponential and even bigger than I know. Right. So, it's pretty awesome. And it's cool to be able to now look back on it and now look ahead as, okay, now I got another part of my life I got to get to now too. So
being a dad, doing things, taking kids to practice, do this, do that. You just had a little one. What was it, about a year ago?
Yeah, a little over a year ago. Her name's Wilder. Yeah.
So Wilder, awesome. You're changing diaper. I mean, so you probably feel good. There's probably times where you're probably like, what the hell? Like, be back to hockey, right? But at the same time, it's cool for you.
It's great. I mean, it's a whole new life, a whole new way to look at things, and to be a dad. It's awesome. To be honest, I take pride in being a dad now. It's so much fun, and it is funny you say too that I think back about 4 or 5 years ago when I was playing, and I did not anticipate this right now post hockey, but that's life, and I'm just rolling with it right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. You played for the LA Kings, the Flyers, and a couple other teams. What was couple cups of coffee here and there.
Yeah.
What was that whole thing like, getting to see so many parts of the NHL and seeing how teams do different things within an organization? Because the organizations operate differently, and some trainers are better than the others, and some organizations give you everything, the chefs and this, that, and the other, and there's some that don't do shit. So what was that like for you?
It was interesting, and it was a learning curve for me. I know getting traded many times, getting picked up off waivers, playing for different organizations, GMs, owners. I mean, everyone operates differently, and there were some cases where I was like going from spoiled to maybe not so spoiled, and it's just the way it is. And but at the same time, I think it really helped me. I think being a suitcase, as you could say, right? Being able to just kind of get acclimated with a team right away. And I mean, I got traded 3 years in a row, so you kind of I got almost in a little bit of a rhythm of knowing how to just kind of slide into a team and just, all right, you kind of have to mind your P's and Q's at first, find the team dynamics, see who's the jokester, see, you kind of see it, and you just kind of slide in with that group. But it definitely taught me a lot. I learned a lot. I saw different things, different coaches, everything. So I really look at it as I was pretty lucky to be able to play in so many different cities and different organizations.
Well, and again, some people see that as a negative that you played for so many teams, but in reality, that's a positive too, because there's teams that wanted you.
And that's the way I looked at it.
Yeah, for sure.
So let me ask you, Nate, real quick. Were you ever on long-term IR?
I was.
Yeah,
I was.
I'm on that right now.
Are you on the LTIR?
Yeah, big injury. Wiffle ball. I snapped my fibula.
What?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh fuck.
I was expecting like wiffle ball, like I pulled a hammy or something like that.
No. Wish I would have signed up for that in a heartbeat. So yeah, I mean, being on long-term IR in the golf world is tough, man. Watching everybody have fun, but I've done everything that I can, and some things I've gone over, the red light therapy and the physical therapy and acupuncture and all this stuff that I don't think people really were talking about. And I talked to some other buddies in the NHL that said this is what our trainers would tell us to do. So I feel like I'm in the show a little bit.
Yeah, he does. Wait, listen, he does. And
so how much longer you got on the LTIR? And it's obviously a lower body injury.
Yeah, lower body. We don't talk about where on the body. So it happened on May 24th, and I had surgery on May 28th.
Okay.
7 screws plate, and
Oof.
I'm not weight bearing, but I'll be weight bearing, I think, come July 8th. So
I have to ask. I'll ask the question here. So, what happened in wiffle ball where you broke your fibula?
I kept telling my fibula. And I kept telling my son, I don't like his little baseball team is playing wiffle ball after a game, and we were drinking. The parents were drinking. I said, somebody's going to get hurt. I'm not playing. 11 o'clock at night, Casamigos was rolling. I said, give me the bat. So my son kept throwing it outside on, the ball just kept being taken by the wind. So finally I said, I'm going to step over the plate and just kind of smack it. Well, my foot was on the plate and it slid off on the other side, rolled, body was going opposite direction. I heard 2 cracks and
down he went.
And down I went.
And down he went. Oh.
Isn't that terrible?
But
tough. It's honestly, everything happens for a reason, and I firmly believe that because I travel for a living and I've gotten to spend a lot more time than ever with my kids lately. My wife's basically taking care of 2 children and a toddler and me. And she's been a saint, and she's ready to kick the crutches from my
There's a silver lining in everything, right?
Oh my God, dude. Just the small things like getting a cup of coffee. You're like, hey, can you bring this over for me? He's just like, you don't realize.
He has taken commitment to recovery to a whole new level, Nate. I mean, especially with respect to talking to some of these guys about, red light therapy, acupuncture. I mean, show Nate your one.
Cold tubs too.
Cold tub. He's got to get in the cold tub.
I haven't gotten in yet because the Steri strips were still on. They just came off, so I'm gonna probably once after July 8th, and they tell me, hey, it looks good. I'll start cold tubbing it.
But Why don't you show Nate the water bottle you've been carrying? There it is. Look, like he's on the bench. This is how he fucking drinks now. Look at this thing. And then
It's just
he leans
easier
back
because it's
and
got
squirts his
32
mouth.
ounces of
He's like-
water, boys.
He's.
What do
I'm
you
like,
got? You got any special electrolytes in there too? What else you
I've
got?
been hammering.
Pep. So let me ask you. So what's your target date to return then? Do you have a target date?
I mean, honestly, I've been really good at amino acids. I've been really pumping. That was another thing the NHL guys told me: get aminos in you. Not setting a target date. I'm more or less like this red light therapy and this acupuncture. If it can get me ahead by even 5 days, that's golden to me.
Well, I'd say even if you have a target date, you're probably going to beat that with all of the recovery stuff you're doing right
This
now.
is expensive too,
Right?
huh?
I mean,
to take care of yourself and change my diet and do this.
Yeah, it's an investment, that's for sure.
I know. Well,
you're coming out better. You're going to be the best shape. I mean,
you might be a better. You might be a better golfer.
He might be.
Yeah.
Might be.
So it's just letting my teammates down out there while they're all playing and everything, being on long term. But it's the risk you take being a dad, wiffle ball,
and an athlete. Yeah, for sure.
An athlete.
Well, he's we have this Chasing Birdies event, here at Nemacolin, and he's like, I'm going to play with a boot on, and we had Vinny on, and he's like, you're not playing in a boot. You're not playing.
I think I saw a clip of that too. I think I saw a video with a clip of you guys.
Yeah, there's no chance you're going to just walk around with the boot. Now, mind you, I did see a guy out there, an old man, playing in a boot, but
I'm at the point, it's like, do you want to risk that for like 2 days?
Yeah, I don't even think it's worth it, right?
No, so I'll just get hammered and smoke cigars.
Because you're just gonna be more angry when you try to hit it and you just like shank one with a boot on. You're gonna be like, all right.
No.
So with the career that you had, you obviously, like you said, you were moving around a lot of different cities. Did that have a lot to do with 44 Concierge, which you are an owner and partner in?
Yeah. So when I was traded to Anaheim from Tampa, and Jamie Carroll and I, who you're talking about, 44, just to go back, we knew each other from when I played at Providence, because he played at Providence College with a friend of mine from home. And we just reconnected when I was in Anaheim, and he was working with a concierge company at the time, and that fell through, and he came to me and said, do you want to start something? And I said, absolutely. And we, with the idea of helping players, because I know from my experience, and I think at the time I was still in my late 20s, early 30s, and I had been in the league in a little while, and we talked about just convenience for guys and being able to try and get things done during the season that are hard to get done during the season when you're by yourself, or maybe you have a family, kids, and maybe you do get traded and you're like, okay, now what? And I did deal with that a little bit early in my career, and it's hard. So when I connected with Jamie and we started this thing, it was to help players and make convenience for guys the number one thing. And since then, it's been great, and I think guys are enjoying it, and it's been a pretty good plus for everybody.
Well, it's a need. It fills a need. In other words, that happens regularly. Someone gets traded on the whim, yada, yada.
Yeah.
You want to turn to a resource that you not only trust, but really kind of they have brand equity or brand awareness with respect to kind of what they're doing as a business. So I could see how that would be a successful business model. I mean, now, are you just limited to NHL?
No, we're not. And we've helped guys in different sports, but obviously we're more well versed in the hockey world and more contacts. But we've worked some other athletes from different sports. We've worked with MLB with what we're going to be talking, I'm sure, here soon. So it's been great. And the big thing, Jamie and I and another partner of ours, Ben Gott, when we talked about this starting 44, was we wanted to be family oriented and be able to help guys, and really kind of exclusive. But more times than not, Jamie's not just talking to the players, or we're not. He's talking to the wives, the girlfriends. He's helping the families, and that's the important part, because it's not just the players that are affected; it's the family members, and wives, girlfriends, kids, everybody. So that was really important.
And a lot of the time, people don't realize that your family members are actually more affected than you are, because if you get traded, you're going into a locker room and you're seeing these new guys every single day, and the wife, the girlfriend are just kind of sitting there boxing up everything and moving to a town that they don't know a single soul. And so it's very hard. And so that business model is really cool. I know JT Miller has used you guys a ton, and his wife, and just the ease of traveling, small things that you don't think about that you're making easier for these players.
I mean, I love that you touched on that, Pep. It's so true. Is, to be honest, the players and the hockey guys, we have it kind of easy.
Yeah.
Like you said, we go into a locker room and we're already put into a place with 20 other guys where you're just, all right, you're friends with them automatically, your teammate.
Yeah, another game.
Where for wives, girlfriends, whoever it is, when they show up, they don't know anybody. They don't know, they're in a brand new city. They're not, it's a whole new world for them. So to make them feel more comfortable and maybe, getting them acclimated quicker can help that process.
Jamie's great. I mean, he's incredible.
Yeah.
I know he's helped a couple of my buddies out with some things, and he's responsive and he's awesome. So, and that's the thing, that these guys, they need help. I mean, people don't realize that. A lot of, this is no knock towards NHL players or you, or a lot of those guys don't know where the hell to start with things like this, right? And the fact that you can say to Jamie, hey, can you charter them a plane to get their family from here to there so that everything's taken care of, or a taxi or a driver. It's so easy. And I see that you guys have sponsorships. There's some deals with some companies, Toomey and I think Red Vanley and all kinds of other companies that you have on there that they get benefits as well because of you guys.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And to touch on your point too, I mean, you're right about, guys, I mean, I'll be honest. I mean, you're in the middle of a season and say you have a game the night before or whatever it is, you have family in town and you got to plan this for this trip or after the season. I mean, that's a lot going on, and you're trying to do your job. Your job is the number one thing.
Right.
And those things can be distractions, and it can be stressful too. And the last thing you need is stress during a season. So on top of that, with helping guys with whatever it is, whatever needs it is, we have partnerships with brands, we have partnerships with hotels and just all kinds of different things that help guys also save money at the same time. We're not trying to have guys spend and be lavish, at the same time we want guys to be able to get deals and maybe get some sponsorships or ads or whatever it is to help the player. I mean, we're trying to help the player first and foremost, and the family. So it's a win-win, hopefully.
Oh, that's awesome. So what, relative to the other sports, I know you mentioned MLB, which we were going to bring up at some point, or encompassing that. But so what's the angle of attack with that? I mean, do you apply the same thing because you don't know as many people maybe in those worlds, or is it just kind of networking within your network?
Yeah, I think it's just networking within the network. I mean, I think the athlete world and the sports world is pretty small. If you know this agent or this player and you're connected with this guy, or you played in this city, and that's kind of how we built the relationships and gotten to know other people through different sports. Yeah,
and that makes sense. I'm always interested in someone's business, like how they do things.
Not personal business, but
not personal. No, mate, I don't care what deodorant you wear, bud. I don't even care if you wear deodorant. But what I do care about is what you're doing to keep chasing birdies in life, man. Now, did you have a podcast at some point?
No, I've never had a podcast myself. I've just been on a lot of different ones, I guess you could say.
Yeah, and that's probably what I'm speaking of.
Yeah.
This podcast we got, I mean, it's been, I tell you what, man, I got to be honest.
By the way, the name is great.
Thank you.
Birdies.
I nice. Appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice. I like it.
It's been a lot of fun. And, Jonathan and I both have full-time job. This isn't paying the bills by any stretch.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
In fact, it is a bill. Let's just be honest. It goes to the account.
But even if it's a bill, it's a fun bill, though.
It is. But it's just been really cool just kind of connecting with guys like you and other people that just Good people, man. That's all. You know.
Yeah, this is. I mean, for me, I love doing this stuff because at the end of the day, you're podcasting. You're really just going on to shoot the shit and talk and
Yeah.
tell stories and have fun and like you said, I mean, this is a podcast. It's not a. You're not trying to make a ton of money off podcasts. You're just trying to have fun. So this is great.
So
we are.
Yeah, exactly.
When you played for Philly, was that when you guys had beef with the Penguins? Like, you have any beef stories with Pittsburgh?
When I was there, my two separate occasions. I got traded there from Montreal.
Yeah.
At the deadline, and that was right before COVID. So I was only there for
Quick minute.
a few weeks, and then paused, and then played with Philly in the bubble, and then the next time I was in Philly, I signed as a free agent, but got hurt, and we weren't very good that year. So I never really, I don't really have any really good stories or rival stories against Pittsburgh because we didn't play much when I was there the first time, and then the second time I was there, we weren't very good. So
That's
I think
fair.
they probably beat us pretty handily every time. But I mean, there definitely is. I would say Pittsburgh, especially the Rangers, also. Whenever we're playing them, when I was playing for the Flyers. Especially in Philly, you could feel a heightened hate in the crowd. That's for sure. And as you guys know, Philly fans are a whole new breed.
Dude,
whole new.
It's insane. It's like, where'd you guys
Yeah,
come from? Under a bridge or what?
They're on another level, but I enjoyed it. I mean, I've experienced like Montreal fans in different places, but Philly's just a little bit different. They're just like, they don't care. Like when I got traded there, the first time I played there, I was in the midst. The team was in the midst of I think we were like 4 or 5 game winning streak when I got traded there, and we got up to like 9 games. And I remember we're in Philly, we're up 2-1 against Buffalo, and our power play is like just having a little bit of trouble getting in their zone, and they're booing. They're booing us, and I'm looking around, and I'm like, I was like, are we on a 9-game heater right now? And we're up 2-1 and they're booing us? I'm like, these people are different.
Yeah. It's
like
insane.
they want you. And it's not just about the wins and losses with them. They want a hard working team that is not afraid and will bring it every night.
The Broad Street Bully days.
Broad Street Bullies, that's a Philly fan right there. But I loved it. I loved playing there. It was a great experience.
But that's the thing. You go to Montreal, where I think, in again, all due respect to Philly fans, I don't think Philly fans all know exactly about the game of hockey. They just want to see cruising.
I wouldn't say like Montreal or those other Canadian cities. Their hockey knowledge is not the same for sure, but they have a passion for all their sports teams there. I think that's the number one thing is they love all their sports teams. The number one though is the Eagles there, hands down.
Yeah,
the Eagles are number one there.
I enjoy watching hockey. That's how Jonathan and I met on the ice back as kids. Man, we played ice hockey together growing up. But
it's awesome.
Glad we made it. Bud.
It's like the one thing about hockey, the nostalgic factor to it, that I think things in other sports realms sports period have changed. Like the NFL certainly has gotten softer with respect to hits and whatnot, what have you, especially towards the quarterback. And rightfully so. But the one thing that stays constant within hockey is the fact that these fuckers can fight. And that is awesome. Like, how great is that? And then at the end of the day, the guys know, there is some entertainment value here. But yeah, they're probably pissed off about something. But the refs let them duke it out. And then they get on with life. And I think that is one of the coolest things still about hockey in today's world. Their ability to fight.
Mm-hmm.
I totally agree. I think that there is a place for fighting in hockey, and it has to stay because if you take it out, the game is going to completely change, and I think more guys will get hurt.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have fighting, it eliminates those dirty hits. It eliminates the cheap shots. It eliminates guys running around in games not thinking they have to be held accountable.
Yeah.
When you have a guy in the lineup, like a guy like Ryan Reeves, or you look at the Rangers this year in Rempe, how much did that change the whole landscape of the league this year? With now, we need to have a tough guy in our lineup.
Yeah.
I feel like it's fallen off until this year.
Yes.
Actually, I feel like it's fallen off till Rempe became a part of the show.
I was just going to say Rempe really changed it this year. I think it added the storylines. It added, when he was fighting every single game, and it was like, okay, he's going to fight this heavyweight, now this heavyweight, now this heavyweight. And it really brought back that importance. And I think if you ask every single top player in the league, if you ask Connor McDavid, you ask Nate McKinnon, if you ask Artemi Panarin, if you ask Vinny Trocheck, they're going to say, we want those guys in our lineup. We want those guys on our team. Those guys more than anything. You look back at Wayne Gretzky and you ask him, he's going to be like, I want Martin McSorley on my team. I want those guys on my team. So there's a place, there's no matter what, there is a place for it in hockey. I don't care what anybody says. It's part of the game, and it makes the game better.
I mean, Marty McSorley, he had to protect Gretzky, and then he came to Pittsburgh, and he had to protect Lemieux. Those guys, if you looked at Gretzky wrong, they were going to kill you.
Yeah, they're fighting.
And that vibe of the game has changed dramatically, which I do miss that because it was entertainment value, right? You remember, I don't know if you even saw it, but back in the early or late 80s, I think Robbie Brown scored on Ron Hextall, and Hextall went after him with a stick, just chasing him around, and a massive brawl broke out. And those are the kind of things that were fun to watch back in the old day hockey. But I do think hockey got away from it because of our modern day, what we're living in that. But I think it's back because of this Rempe. I mean, it's insane, dude. Pete, like you said, every game I was watching games, well, obviously for Vince, but also who's Rempe going to fight today? And it started before the game even started. At center ice, they're talking and whatever. Yeah. So it was cool to watch that kind of get back into the game.
Yeah, and even like it's not even the fighting part of it; it's the anticipation when he's on the ice. You have everyone chanting his name and people watching. Who's he going to run over this shift, or who's he going to hit?
Yeah,
and just having that. It doesn't even have to be a staged fight. I mean, it doesn't even have to happen. But having those guys in the lineup, it automatically changes the game right away.
What about your golf game? How's that looking since you retired?
It's been okay. It's up and down. As you guys know, golf is a fickle game with your mentals.
Yeah, I don't know. I know what you're saying, Nate.
Yeah, you've played in some great cities though. With golf,
I have.
LA and Anaheim, golf, great cities.
I have. I've been lucky. I've played some good courses. Now that I'm done being a dad. Obviously, you guys know makes a little things harder to golf frequently. But I still love the game, and I still get out as much as I can. My golf game right now is probably not very tight, but it's okay.
Well, it's just, and you know what? The problem is this. Here's the problem with golf. If you were playing regularly, you would still say the same thing. Like,
100%.
I could play 4 or 5 days a week, and I'd be like, something's just off. Like, I just don't get it.
No, it's like I remember I shot my lowest round at playing, like it was like the second time playing after the season. I shot my lowest round, and then the next round I shot like almost 100. Yeah. It was like it didn't even. It was like, how is this possible? It's just that's golf though.
And now that you have a certain love for golf, you guys have started a pro athlete golf tour, which I think is a genius idea to get these athletes involved. I think you did one with baseball in Orlando in November, and there's a lot of good baseball players, and they're playing for money, right?
Yes, yeah. They entered the golf tournament. They all entered in. They had to put in money for it, so there was a purse. I think there was a little over 20 guys, and they had a blast. They had a tournament. Guys were playing me. It wasn't even all guys with plus handicaps or low handicaps. I mean, I think there was a guy there with like a 15 handicap, and he wanted to go out there and have fun and play with the fellas. And guys brought their wives, girlfriends, buddies, could caddies for them, and it was a success, and they had a great time.
And so fast forward to August, there is the Pro Athlete Golf Tour at Half Moon Bay in California for NHL players. And I understand there's been a lot of big name commits so far, and the NHL Network might be involved?
Possibly. Yeah. There's a chance there. And we do have some guys coming that are pretty good sticks. And like you said, it's Half Moon Bay, Ritz-Carlton, about 20 minutes from the San Francisco International Airport. It's on there's two golf courses right on the ocean. We're going to have three days tournament welcoming party the night before we start. It's going to be a blast. Guys are going to have a good time. We're going to have a side games every day, so everyone can win some money. Everyone can win, and at the end of the day, it's going to be fun. Like guys are going to come here and have a good time. It's going to be a golf trip.
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
you're coming to compete, but it's going to be a golf trip. And for current and former players, I mean, you have guys that are retired and maybe they have some business going on or whatever they have. They're away from hockey. You know, this is a chance for them to get relevant again, and they can, you know, sell their business or they can talk about it. It's just basically tell the people or whoever what they're doing now these days.
Right.
You know, and also for the current players. I mean, it's just fun to be able to have that dynamic and play with a former player or play with your, you know, play with a teammate or whoever it is. But I think the thing I wanted to stress, and Jamie and I talked about this, and with this Pro Athlete Golf Tour, is making sure guys don't think they have to be under a 5 handicap to come to this. Because, you know, you look on the match with TNT, and I think of Tom Brady at the tee box just spraying his drives off the tee box. And that to me is more entertaining than seeing him hit it straight down the fairway every time. So we encourage guys that are not good at golf to come, basically was what I'm saying.
That's awesome. Well, I saw James Wisniewski's playing in it. He's playing. Yep. He's playing in the Chasing Birdies 2-man.
Yeah, he's a stick.
Dude, he is freaking hilarious.
He's hilarious.
Yeah, he is. He's a character.
Did you see the video of I'll send it to you on Instagram if you haven't seen it, but Justin Thomas was sitting front row game 7. Did you see this?
I saw the small clip of it.
Okay, so he said the guy he was sitting next to was basically like, dude, hockey players are nuts. He's like, yeah, he's like one of my best buddies. He met his wife in Vegas. He took his teeth out and put them in her beer and she drank it. Like that was the first time he ever met. And so I sent that to Wiz and he responds back. He goes, buddy, that's me. That's who he's talking about. And he's like, I've never told you this story. I'm like, no, dude.
Oh my
he's
God.
awesome.
He's got stories out the ass.
Oh yeah.
So
it's awesome.
Is this something you're going to do annual? I mean, I know you might have did one before prior, but is this something you're going to try to?
Yeah, so we did the MLB one.
Yeah.
We're going to do the NHL one, and hopefully, yeah. I mean, this isn't a plan to be a one and done thing. We want this to be an every year thing. Maybe it's a multiple times a year thing. We don't know. We'll see how this first one goes. But more than anything, we want guys to have fun. We want guys to have a good time and come out and just enjoy themselves.
Yeah, no, that's what it's about. And
exactly,
you know, because you could really, I mean, just thinking about this, like you could really scale this thing up. I mean, even if you did 3 or 4 a year, you could do one on the East Coast, West Coast, somewhere central.
Yeah, I truly believe that this thing is, I think sky's the limit for this.
Yeah.
And I think anybody that wants to, I mean, you look at, I think everyone wants to watch golf, and then more so they want to watch some athletes.
Yes.
Golf, and they want to see how they do. And I think people also at the same time, they relate to they'll relate to an athlete golfer because sometimes they're not very good too, and people want to see that. Okay, this guy's not good at. He may be really good at hockey or really good at baseball, but he sucks at golf.
Yeah.
Right. People relate to that. They want to see that. So I think it'll just be fun, and guys will enjoy themselves and have a good time.
Yeah, no, I think it's a great idea.
I love it.
You got Red Vanley on, Pep?
Yeah, I got Red Vanley on.
Look at him. He's still can't golf, but he's in the golf outfit. I get it.
Hey, my daughter said to me today, she goes, Daddy, are you golfing today? I want to cry.
You're like, thanks, honey.
Yeah, 4 years old.
Yeah.
So what do you like to do outside of what you do? I mean, like what's something most people want to know about Nate Thompson if you were to tell if this were like a talent show?
I think one thing so about a year ago, after I stopped playing, a little over a year ago, I started doing jiu-jitsu.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
Sean Avery does that.
You and Sean, yeah.
Yeah, I do know Sean. I've actually gone to jiu-jitsu with him a few times.
Dude,
we actually connected. It's funny. It was a funny story. We connected, and I played against Sean a lot, obviously, but never really played with him. Didn't really know him that well, and we connected at a restaurant here in the Valley. I saw him and we ended up talking for like an hour. Next thing you know, we're talking about jiu-jitsu, and few months later, we're going to some classes together. And I don't go with him all the time, but I've gone with him a few times. And but yeah, to answer your question, I've been doing it now a little over a year and got my blue belt recently. So
sick.
There we go.
leveling up. I did a competition about a month ago too, and got a silver medal. And so it was. It's been a lot of fun. It's a whole new world. It's one of the most humbling experiences I've ever done in my life. It's taught me a lot. It's kind of been life-changing. I'm really enjoying it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, people, I mean, that is one thing about even golf being humbling, but yeah, the wrestling aspect, jiu-jitsu, all that really, I mean, because it's all you. Like you gotta dig in. And then you lean into life and kind of apply it to life in certain ways.
Yeah, it does. There's a lot of parallels with, when you have same thing, when you have a guy on top of you with his knee on your chest, applying pressure on you, and you're extremely uncomfortable. It's one of those things you have to figure out. You got to figure out how to get up. It's a problem right in front of you. You have to deal with it head on. And that's the same thing in life, right? If you have a problem, it's something really hard and you don't know how to handle it, you have to find a way. You have to find a way somehow, and you can't quit. So there's a lot of things I've learned from it, and it's been, like I said, an extremely humbling experience and one of the hardest things I've ever done. I mean, I went in for my first class, I'll never forget, and I kind of went in for like as a workout, and I sat in my car for like 30 minutes after with my hair everywhere, and I was just like, what just happened?
Waxed.
Because I got my ass kicked for about an hour and a half, and I was like, this is something I've never experienced before. So it's been pretty great for me, I think, especially post-hockey.
That's awesome.
Well, if you want to enter a little bit of an entertainment, you should listen to the Sean Avery podcast here on Chasing Birdies a couple months back. He was hilarious, and I will start off.
I didn't even realize he was on the podcast.
And he was 30 minutes.
Is the best part about it.
Yeah, he was 30 minutes late, and when we came into this screen that you're looking at now, he said, "Hey guys, I don't want to fucking be here right now. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this fucking podcast."
But we're like, and he didn't even have to do it. Like we had nothing.
And then he was like, "But let's go, come on." And then he opened up and started talking about golf. He didn't know. He really, whatever. But
he was glad he was on.
I think so too. And
once he got going, he was glad he was on.
Yeah,
I love that he's like a kid with his little vape pen necklace. He doesn't lose that thing.
Yeah, he said he looked like a teenager.
His son is a really good golfer too. So
yeah,
we talked about that a little bit. Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, man, it was good to hearing your name, time to time with Jamie and Pep and what have you. It was good to finally connect with you, Nate, and have you on the show. And hopefully at some point we can link up in person and maybe play some golf.
Absolutely. That would be great. I would love that. I appreciate you guys having me on, and this is great. I would, if you guys want to shoot the shit again, I'll come on again another time.
Well, we want to continue this real quickly here with our tap-in segment presented by Bettinardi Golf. Jonathan's going to ask you some questions, which I'm sure he thought long and hard about these questions. So let's see what he's got.
Yeah.
Favorite NHL city that you played in?
Tampa.
I love that place. Favorite club in the bag?
56 Degree.
Ooh. All right. This is a little deep. Biggest regret in your career?
Biggest regret in my career?
Mm-hmm.
No regrets.
That's right.
Yeah, love it. All right, you dodged that one. And for the record, there is NHL players that do interviews.
You guys know that joke. You guys seen that tattoo with that, no regrets? That's why I said that.
Yeah.
Just making sure the mic's on,
No regrets.
NHL players give the best interviews. So what are you chasing?
What am I chasing?
Mm-hmm.
My daughter around.
That's a new one. That's a good one.
That's a new one.
That's a great one. Hey, you're 56. What are you playing? Vokey, Bettinardi?
It's a Titleist, yeah.
So let me just tell you a story real quick. If you are making or getting custom wedges, unless Aaron Dill is doing it for you directly, you won't have an issue. But I was going through my list of getting all my new SM10s recently.
Yeah.
And I was doing my customizations for stamping, but I put on my 46 degree, which is my pitching wedge, but I get a custom 46. I put fuck a pin, but I put FU asterisk K a pin. It was cool. It's black. It was in like orange writing. It was real subtle, but it was kind of cool. So then, I'm stoked about it. And I get an email from Titleist that says, one or more of your wedges does not pass our legal qualifications for either trademark or profanity. Please call us to whatever, fix the issue, whatever. So I called him and I said, what? I said, it's the wedge with the F word on it, huh? And he's like, yeah, unfortunately, we can't use profanity. I said, well, I get it, bud. I said, just, put my initials on it then. I mean, what the hell? So now I'm going to have my wedge with my initials on it. But anyways, funny story. Maybe not funny. Funny to me, though.
Yeah, that's a good story.
Can't say it. Can't say it.
Thank you so much again, Nate. And we'll stay tuned for the pro athlete NHL portion of event. So we're really looking forward to seeing
August
that.
21st and 24th. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
And then they'll be going off to camp. So
yeah. And if
you
they
don't
want to
have worry
register, just go to proathletegolftour.com and they can register, and it's all right there. And that's it. Easy peasy.
about. Perfect.
Get on it, guys. Get out there and sign up.
All right, Nate. Thank
Nate,
you so
we
much.
appreciate it,
Chase
man.
your daughter around.
Oh, thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, yeah.
Nate Thompson. That was a good and fun one. Like you said in the intro, he had a great career.
Mm-hmm.
He had a long career, played for a couple different teams, as we mentioned in that podcast, but great dude. And he's got a lot going on. I mean, he's chasing little ones around. He's got 44
now he's got the little one.
concierge.
Yep.
He's got the golf event that he's helping with. So my man's got his hands in a lot right now.
That's what happens. Life comes at you fast, man. And he's doing a really good job managing that and still staying relevant and doing what he's doing. It's really cool, though. I mean, the golf tournament that he's speaking of, I think there's something there. I think it could stick. They want to try to do some different events, coast to coast, whatnot. We're at Half Moon Bay, like you said. I mean, so it's good stuff, Nate. I love to see these fellow ex-athletes just kind of married to the game of golf a little bit, man.
Yeah, for
Married to
sure.
the game of
And
golf.
yeah, absolutely. And loved that he was going to jiu-jitsu, right?
Yeah,
with
getting in with
Sean
Sean
Avery,
Avery.
ex-NHL player and guest of Chasing Birdies. So, listen, boys, the guys out in the valley, as they say, are living life.
Living life in the valley, and sometimes in the valley, especially in Death Valley, it gets extremely hot, man. So you got to escape to the mountains south of Pittsburgh here in Farmington, Pennsylvania. Nemacolin Resort in Farmington is world-class, 5-star. It'll keep you cool on those hot days. It'll keep you warm on those cool fall nights. You make it down here to Farmington. Check them out online, nemacolin.com. It's where we just had our Chasing Birdies too, man. And it's where you should bring your family. Excellent.
Yes, that was fantastic right there. And they put on a hell of a show, which, again, we did this on Sunday, but I know they're going to put a hell of a show on for the event that's happening. We had to do this before Thursday, so we got it done and all that jazz. But we're doing a cool interview, man.
Next interview on Chasing Birdies. Why don't you...
Yeah, it's Gentry Humphrey. So Gentry23 on Instagram. Check him out. I'm sure a lot of our listeners have 2, 3, 4, 5 pairs of Jordan golf shoes. And Gentry is now the vice president of Jordan Golf. And before he did this, he designed Jordans for Michael Jordan. So we're really excited about this one because, I mean, I'll be honest, I'll be the first. I've got a million pair of Jordan golf shoes, so this is exciting for me. I know Bash got a couple sprinkled in. And
yeah, bud. They're great.
So,
they're actually comfortable. People look at them and think, they're kind of blocky and whatnot. No. The only thing that kind of rubs me, I got to wear a little higher sock on that back tag, but those lows I got down at Grove 23 are awesome. It's a great pair of golf shoes. Plus, again, a little boost to the height. So, next guest here on Chasing Birdies, Gentry Humphrey, will be joining us in 2 weeks. And that's about all I got today, my man. What do you think?
That's about it. Make sure you go over to Chasing_Birdies on Instagram. Like it, love it, tap it. And stay tuned for a lot more content. We'll be providing you guys with a tournament update and recap next week.
Yeah, stay tuned to our social handles for that update. But in the meantime, enjoy your weekend. Tune into the Open Championship, like I said, which is kicking off today. It's going to be a good one. And always appreciate you tuning in here on Chasing Birdies. Thank you to Evo Alley and Emily at Simpler Media for putting this thing together. Jacqueline DiPaterio, Rachel London, you girls really kick ass. We appreciate it. You all have a great, blessed weekend. We'll catch y'all in 2.